All right, so diving in today, Lolita, Nabokov, heavy stuff. Listeners sent in like some seriously thought-provoking excerpts. We're gonna, use those to kind of unpack this whole
Yeah.
thing, the setup, the narrator, the works.
Yeah, they're definitely a complex one. We're mainly looking at the foreword, beginning of part one, and that author's note on a book entitled Lolita,
Yeah.
the groundwork.
Exactly. Kind of a mission statement for the whole deep dive, right? Get a handle on how the story's presented, who this Humbert guy is, and what Nabokov himself thought about it all. So that forward, pretty unusual way to start a novel, huh?
It is, right? Frames Lolita as a manuscript edited by someone else. Two potential titles, Lolita or The Confession of a White Widowed Male. Already sets the tone, doesn't it? That duality, a person and their confession.
Yeah, definitely. And then we get all this info about Humbert, dead, coronary thrombosis, November 16th, 1952, in legal captivity, like before his trial even happened.
Right, and the editor is connected to Humbert's lawyer, Clarence Cho Clark, through the will. And his editor, get this, won the polling prize for Do the Senses Make Sense? A book about, like, morbid states, perversions. Makes you wonder.
A little bit, yeah. Then he says his job was easy, just fixing grammar, removing a few details, to protect identities, places. Says the core of it's all Humbert. What do you think about that?
Hmm. Makes you think about those details, right? What got cut? Why? Is this editor influencing how we see Humbert?
Could be. Keeps the name Lolita.
Yeah.
Says it's too important to the book. Same with Humbert, that bizarre name. Only clarifies Haze rhymes with the real last name.
Interesting.
Lolita.
It's iconic now, almost a stand-in for a whole type of forbidden thing. The Nabokov, or the editor, I mean, making sure we remember her. And Humbert too. It's so theatrical from the start.
Yeah, and the editor even tells the reader, the inquisitive reader, to look up H.H.'s crime, newspaper, September, October 1952. But he also says he wants to explore the cause and purpose of it himself, blurring the lines a little.
Definitely makes it feel real,
Yeah.
like a true crime document. It's
Yeah.
unsettling.
Then bam, part one, Humbert's voice. Talking to a jury. Exhibit number one, envied by seraphs, a tangle of thorns. Such a weird, powerful opening.
Total contradiction. He knows he's being judged, but it's also defiant, like his experience is special. Twisted beauty.
So, okay, his early life, born Paris, 1910, calls his heritage this salad of racial genes, Swiss citizen, French, Austrian, Danube ancestry, dad owned a hotel, Riviera, family history, wine, jewels, silk. Sounds privileged.
Right. So is his obsession even more messed up because of that? Like,
Yeah.
that's not from lacking something? And his mom, English, Elfin
Yeah.
dad, Parsons for grandparents, paleopodology, alien harps. It's a lot.
It is. Then, his monstrously twofold adult life, Europe. Outwardly, normal relationships. Inwardly, obsessed with every passing nymphet. 7 to 17, he clarifies later. That's disturbing.
It's the core of the conflict.
I s-
Right. He knows it's wrong, but he calls other women, what, palliative agents? Compared to nymphets, total disconnect.
And his pollutive dreams, he says, are 1,000 times more dazzling than all the adultery. Like more than any writer, anybody you could imagine. It's consuming.
And obsessed with his own specialness, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's twisted.
Internal struggle, taboos, rejects psychoanalysis, only attracted to Sisters of Annabelle's, this childhood love, trying to justify it, right? Like it's all because of this early trauma.
Creating a romantic narrative.
Huh.
But it falls apart, doesn't it? Because it's every passing nymphet,
Yeah.
not just one specific type.
Then the justifications, historical figures, cultural references, Hugh Broughton, Virgil, Akhenaten's daughters, Roman rituals, East Indian customs, Dante, Petrarch. It's a strange mix.
He's twisting them, right? Trying to make it seem normal. Like there's this historical precedent. But it's not. It's just manipulation.
Utmost respect for ordinary children. Won't interfere with their innocence unless a demon child. Enfant charmant et fourbe. Chilling.
Classic abuser tactic, right? Dehumanizing, making exceptions, projecting blame. And Lilith, not Eve. It's that knowingness, that supposed seduction. Even in a child, he sees that.
Then the clinical details. Breast development, 10.7 years. Pubic hair, 11.2. So objectifying.
Reducing them to body parts. Triggers for his obsession.
Wonders about their future, briefly. If his hidden throb affected them. A flicker of something. But it's gone fast.
Maybe a tiny bit of guilt. But it's buried under self-pity. He's more focused on his own great and terrible wonder.
Remembers a grown-up nymphet, Madeline, in Paris. Still a nymphic echo, a childish something. So it's not just age, is it?
It's this essence, this nymphic quality. He thinks it can last. It makes it More complicated,
Yeah.
but still wrong.
Life Before America, Valeria, 1935 to 1939. Small, squalid flat, Paris. Sex. Rare. Great urgency and despair, miserable.
Totally detached, lost in his fantasies. Attracted to the grocer's daughter. See, it's always there.
Meals at a crowded restaurant, fixated on an ancient Americanist stamp. A locomotive, foreshadowing maybe?
Right, subconscious pull towards America.
Inheritance. Oncle d'Amérique, 1939. Has to move to the U.S., wants a shakeup. Problems with Valeria, escape route.
A way out. Maybe he thinks a new place will fix him, but it won't.
Valeria's upset about the move. Passport problems. There is another man in my life. Humbert's reaction. Controlled. Takes her to a clinic. Switzerland. Amused by other patients' files. Potentially homosexual, totally impotent, cold.
Clinical.
Yeah.
Detached. Still focused on himself, even when his wife's leaving him.
Charlotte Haze, 35. Simple features. Sea green eyes, never quite looking at him. Quizzical smile. He thinks she's all surface, conventional. No humor. Doesn't care about anything they talk about. Not exactly love at first sight.
He's using her to get to what he wants, already calling it a tedious affair before it's even started.
Dolores Haze, low in the garden, like a shock. Recognizes her, his lost love. Polka dot kerchief, tiny mole, lovely indrawn abdomen, imprint from her shorts. 25 years gone, just gone.
Past and present crashing together. She's Annabelle, again, all those sensory details, it's intense.
He even thinks about his future judges calling it the mummery of a madman. But then, low in the lilies, beautiful, 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 like she's sacred.
It's a twisted kind of beauty, fueled by obsession.
So wrapping up this beginning, the editorial framing, can we trust anything Humbert says? He's deeply troubled, consumed by this awful desire, trying to justify it with stories, with references, America and Lolita, the spark, the start of this whole mess.
What do you think about him, listener? Do you trust him? What about those missing details, those justifications? What are they really about?
It makes you think about desire, right? And memory, how it can trick us. Humbert and his upset. It challenges everything, about how we tell stories, how we understand them, what's the author's role, the reader's role. It's a lot to think about.